Welcome to today's episode, everyone. We've got a very exciting guest for you guys. For those of you just joining the podcast, we're E.N.G Media, and we specialize in helping software and technology companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your software or tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us a word growth in the DMs. But without further ado, thank you so much, Chris, for hopping on our podcast today. Really excited to dive into Third Wave's SAP solutions and kind of a little bit about you and about your company. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
No, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, let's just dive into everything. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about Third Wave and kind of what your role looks like in the day to day.
Sure. So Third Wave Business Systems is a SAP Business One consulting firm. We were actually the very first implementation in North America of SAP Business One. So we've been doing it for over 20 years, primarily in North America, and have hundreds of customers, done lots of projects. We write our own IP, so we do have products that we've written to enhance the Business One application. So typically to try to fit some industry gaps, or to enhance what a customer needs to make sure they can run their business and take advantage of what all of SAP can do, and then add a few products that maybe we have to help them enhance that experience for them and get a better ROI.
Yeah, that is awesome. And can you maybe highlight some of the enterprise, industries that you work in or that you've worked with in the past?
Sure. So, from when we look at day to day and what we do for our customers, we primarily spend most of our time in the discrete manufacturing, wholesale distribution. We also are good in consumer packaged goods and then life sciences, specifically around med device. So those are like the four industries that we spend every day thinking about.
Mm.
Our consultants are very good in those industries. The software fits really well in those industries. So that's really, if you look at our base, I bet you 85% of our customers fall into those four categories.
That is awesome. Yes, I can imagine you guys are creating some really customized solutions for a lot of those enterprises. You mentioned that you've got IP for some products that you've built out. Could you maybe bring one example to light that's maybe helped one of the enterprises that you work with and kind of what that looked like to be able to get that together?
Sure. So one of our products is called Versago. So it's a low code business portal application. So think of it as being able to do customer portal, employee portal, vendor portal, supply chain portal, anything that you want to grab data out of multiple systems, not just B1, but could be other systems outside of there. Pull it into a grid format, be able to customize that grid, edit that grid, be able to enter data into the grid, not just reporting into it, but also creating transactions or events inside of that portal, and then have it right back into Business One.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a very strong, powerful tool. You don't have to be a programmer to use it because it's low code. So it's just literally just bringing the data in that you want to pull in, and being able to that bi-directional kind of interface with this portal. So people use it for taking credit cards. People use it for time entry and expense entry. We have customers using it for production floor entry. So they're entering time on the floor. They could do it in B1, but they decided that they wanted to have it more, in a portal format that they can completely customize to the way they want it to look and feel for their employees, and then they can go ahead and enter that time into it. We have got customers that are using it for QA. So they actually built a little mini QA QMS solution inside the business portal app that just interacts with Business One with the transactions and the data and the fields that need to come out and go back in that are updated.
That is wow. That's pretty impressive. I guess what comes to my mind is how did you come up with the solutions that you guys are bringing to the marketplace? Like I'm assuming you must have had previous and past experience with B1 and maybe as well as in some of these industries that you're working in now. Can you kind of walk me through what that looks like how you ended up creating the company that you have now?
Yeah. So the founder of the company, started 30 years ago, and not just doing Business One. Back in those days, it was also Dynamics GP.
Mm.
So that's where kind of the evolution happened, and then over time they decided to let the GP business go. They sold that off. She kept going with just Business One, staying very focused on that. And then as time goes, you get really good at it. We're doing a lot for customers, and then there's just needs that come up, and you're trying to find a solution, right? So, We wrote a credit card solution because we felt like that was the right way direction to go for that. A customer has a need around integrations. We wrote BizWeaver, so we have a workflow integration tool that interacts with our Versago,
Mhm.
but it can also stand standalone for customers that have volumes of transactions that they want to have a workflow attached to it. It could, it does email alerting, all these great things that it does, and it was just a tool that we built because we didn't find the right solution out in the market that
Mhm.
we could bolt on. We'll write it, right? So that's how those modules came up, and Ship Easy for interacting with FedEx and UPS software to work with inside of B1 altogether. Even though the rate shopping is done through the other pieces, it also
Mhm.
we pull it into our module, and we handle all the shipping right out of Ship Easy, and then we send that information to UPS and FedEx, right? Because they need that information where, when it's getting picked up in the barcodes and everything. So, we wrote those modules just for customers asking for it, and like we can do that, and then we wrote it. So we've got a dev team and a product manager who manages the dev team, and we have a roadmap. We're constantly adding enhancements to it. We listen to our customers all the time to make sure that we're adding stuff that they want. And one of them was this editable grid. That was something that came out of customers saying, "Hey, I'm kind of using this as my service management module, Versago, and I don't like to have to click on that line item and then go to the detail to make a change to like the tech that's going to be assigned to that ticket. So instead, they want to be able to do that right on the grid. That makes complete sense. Let's make that more usable, more usable for the customer. So we actually just made that enhancement, and then we also just made it multi-tenant. So
Mhm.
now, if they don't want to host it themselves or put it in their private cloud, we'll host it for them.
Wow.
So, because that's we're in the world of subscription, and we're in the world of cloud. So we're
Mhm.
moving those products over as quickly as we can.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it really sounds like a lot of the enhancements that you've made to your products has just came from talking to your customers and kind of working with different enterprises and finding a way to solve their solutions. Really, it's simple, but I think that's what makes, some of the best companies have the reputation that they do. It's because they're able to provide unique value to the marketplace, which is awesome. And I know that usually everybody has competitors. It really sounds like you guys are providing, a one of one solution, but I'm sure that there must be other similar companies out there. And a good question that I always like to ask is, if I'm a potential client and maybe I'm analyzing my options, uh, you know, to work with somebody who can help me with SAP solutions, what would be some things that you would want me to know about Third Wave that really separate you guys from the pack, and how would that positively impact my business as I'm looking for software?
Sure, it's a great question. So one, I think when you think about how we go to market and we think about those customers that we talk to as truly trying to be a consultant, trusted advisor to not only our partners but to our clients as well. And when you're doing that, you're really listening a lot. And I
Mhm.
think when we get the information back, either whether it's G2 rating, it's very strong right now. We're like the second highest rated Business One partner right now in North America.
Nice.
Um, it comes down to our team really knows my industry. We can always articulate. We love to tell the customer story. So when we're in that kind of initial discovery and they ask us, well, how can you help us? And we hear what their business challenges are, and we can articulate back that business challenge and how we solved it for a customer just like them in that industry, right? That says volumes of what you can do for them, right? So I think we start there. Then we talk about how we've never failed a project. We have 100% go live. We've been in business for, since 1993, and we have not failed a project. We have gotten the customer to go live.
Wow.
Now, doesn't mean it's not bumpy. Doesn't mean that there's a lot of pain because ERP is complicated and hard, and change management is always a challenge for a customer. But we get our customers live.
Yeah.
So then, and they say, well, what happens after that? Now we're live. And I go, well, we had this closing meeting with you. We talk about, what went well, what didn't go well. So because we need to learn, right? And they're going to learn some things about themselves as well. And typically there's always other additional things that come out of that implementation. That's phase 2 and 3, right? We want to articulate those things that we've learned that they've told us that they'd like to do later,
Mhm.
start to put some priorities around it. But you get a customer, our customers get a consultant for life.
Wow.
So Doesn't mean that that's the only person that works on their project or on, working with their team, but you do get one lead consultant for life, and you get a customer success manager for life as well. So those two are really the care and feeding every day to make sure that we're proactively communicating or having regular meetings with you, even if it's just to say, I'm okay, and that's fine. But business changes all the time. It means your requirements start to change and you need to start making sure the software is doing what it's supposed to do and you're not creating more spreadsheets, right? Our biggest goal is to get rid of spreadsheets, not to create more. So you get that. We also, for customers, especially ones that come from other partners, they tend to go with our third wave cloud. So we have a white label AWS cloud solution for they don't want to do on-prem anymore. They don't want to manage it themselves. I just want my infrastructure. I want to be insecure. I don't have to worry about it. We have 60 customers right now that are running in our third wave cloud and are very, very happy. And
Wow.
that includes some managed services. So we're also looking at their environment multiple times a month and optimizing it, making sure that it's running the way it's supposed to run. And we've had customers tell us, I don't know what you're doing differently, because this is after we ran managed services for about 4 months. And they're like, but my system's running faster. And we're like, awesome. I mean, that's all we want to hear. Like, we just want to make sure that they're happy.
Yeah.
So I think those are the big things for us, plus our products that we continue to evolve and enhance. But those are, I think, the things that kind of set us apart in the market that, 100% go lives, not many partners can say that. It's a very challenging thing to do. And you have to, pick the right customers too. Sometimes what customers you should take and customers maybe you should not because you may not be able to get them to the goal line, and we have to. That's
Yeah.
no one wants to fail on the first one. So we want to make sure we keep the 100% going.
100%. Yeah, that's no, that's huge. And I think it's really like the resources that you provide to the companies that you're working with probably helps the 100% go live rate. And then, I can imagine, as an enterprise, I know that I need all of these things done and I need a software solution that can help me with that. But to be able to integrate with it and use it and train team members to use it, I assume that that's also its own learning curve in itself. So it's really awesome that you guys provide those resources for them. And then, my space as well, a lot of companies will white label like CRMs and different types of softwares, but they're not continuously in there optimizing it and finding ways to make it better. It's almost like they just set and forget it.
Yeah.
As a part of their solution. So I'm sure that also contributes to your guys' success rate, which is awesome. And another question that came to my mind was, with that 100% success rate of go live with the enterprises you work with, do you have to limit yourself to only working with a certain number of clients, or do
No, no, not at all. We can scale. We just hired another experienced consultant just came on board this week.
nice?
So we build as we need to based on kind of where our utilization is to make sure that we're not overburden our team.
Mhm.
Because we really care about our team and we really live the servant leadership methodology here at Third Wave. So our leaders, we think about the team all the time and what we need to do to kind of reduce the barriers, empower them to do their jobs every day, allow
Mhm.
them to make mistakes and learn from it and really try to make sure that they're always growing and they know that they can, they can make decisions every day on their own. They don't need to reach out to their manager or one of their VPs. So
Yeah,
we make sure the leadership team constantly is thinking about that servant leadership mentality.
that's awesome. It sounds like you mentioned a servant mindset whenever you're thinking about things. What really stands out to me is how much you are focused on listening instead of trying to take over conversations. And I think that helps you with your current clients and as well as communicating with your team. Like for me, being a big listener has always helped, and you can know for sure if you can help somebody with the solution because you're listening to them and how well you can apply that to what they need. And kind of transitioning to a different question here, I'm always curious to know, especially in the ERP space, how are you guys currently reaching out to these enterprises? I'm assuming you guys get a bunch of referrals and really good like case studies for having 100% success rate that you're able to leverage, but are people pretty much just knocking on your door, visiting your website because of like the enterprise is talking usually, or do you guys have any other types of systems that works well for you guys?
Yep. So, I mean, our go-to-market strategy is not complicated. I don't think there's a silver bullet for anything that we do. It's for me this year has been I call it the year of spaghetti. So, when I was taught how to make spaghetti by my mom, and you didn't know when it was done until you threw it on the wall and it stuck. So we've been doing a lot of that in marketing. So socially, we're very active on LinkedIn, a little bit on X, and then we just launched our Instagram.
Nice.
So, we're doing a lot of education in there. All of our campaigns that we're doing, we try to get those out in those social media areas. We also have marketing campaigns running by industry. So if you're manufacturing, CPG, wholesale distribution, we're having those campaigns running with different messages, getting them to white papers, different blogs that make sense around business issues that they're probably having issues with,
Mhm.
trying to drive to webinars. So that's what we do kind of on that side of it. We partner a lot. So, I've been doing this for 30 years. So,
Mhm.
we work with other trusted advisors that we talk to. So, with different banks and law firms and insurance brokers and stuff that we work with and selection firms.
Mm.
So, we're spending a lot of time with them and helping them get intros into certain customers that maybe fit them, and obviously they make intros for us as they
Nice.
see that someone raises their hand that they have an RFP or they're looking for a new financial business system to run the business on. We'd love to be a part of that. We're not always going to win, but
Yeah.
we want to be a part of that as much as possible. So that's the big stuff that we're doing is between referrals and that network, we get leads from our publisher SAP, the campaigns that we're running, the social stuff that we're doing, and then from a customer perspective, we're running monthly educational series around different ISVs that they could take advantage of. So, if they're looking for a new warehouse management system, they
Mhm.
need help with sales tax reporting with Avalara. We do stuff with Focus Point, which is a big e-commerce platform that works with B1. We create a monthly webinar to help them, just learn about other stuff that's going on
Nice.
that they might be able to add into their with their systems to take advantage of not maybe taking some manual processes away.
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing those insights. And I really like that you're constantly educating your current customers, because I do talk to a lot of other leaders in their industries, and they often struggle with finding a way to stay relevant to like the customers that they're talking to, maybe people with longer sales cycles or customers that come back and leave for a couple months and
Yep.
go reevaluate options. I think because you guys are leading with value and you have such a deep understanding of the ERP space, it definitely helps you stay at top of mind, but also help them with solutions along the way that they're able to implement.
No,
So,
100%. We have 98% retention. So
wow.
most of our customers, and they've average customers probably have been with us for 12, 14 years, something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
But and when they do leave, it's a lot of times it's because they're part of a larger organization and now they're going to big SAP. So they're moving to 4 HANA. We've
Mm,
had customers last year that left and went to actually, to what the corporate holding company was using, but they were very happy with B1 and
mhm.
they've done it forever because we've got companies over $1 billion on B1.
Oh, wow.
But sometimes corporate pulls that card of like, no, we want you all on 4 HANA, and they all go to they have to move up to S4. So
Right. No, that is awesome. It sounds like you guys are doing really amazing things. Another key question that I wanted to ask you, what are some goals for Third Wave in the next 12 months in terms of growth? Like, are you trying to maybe hire more team members? Are you trying to work with more clients in the industry, more small to medium-sized businesses, maybe change something about that? Are there any like quantifiable goals that you have for this next 12 months?
yeah, I mean, we're always looking to get to 15%, EBITDA growth. That's our goal, right? That we're part of private equity. We're part of the Pine Services Group, which is the holdco, and above that is Evergreen Services Group, which is
Nice.
the main holdco for us. So, we're looking for that. So that means bringing being available for partners that for customers that want to change partners. We don't actively go after that. That's just like they
Mhm.
find us on either G2. They find us, over on SAP's website where you can find a partner.
Wow.
There's lots of ways for them to get to us, or just Google us. Um, so we're always looking for those when they come and make sure that we can help them. We won't take them on unless we think we can make them happy.
Right.
Um, Obviously net new is a big deal, so you're always trying to grow that. But some of the initiatives that we've been doing this year is really working on improving some margins and some areas that we wanted to improve our operational efficiencies, which we're trying to do right now, which has been really going really well. And I want every customer in the cloud. Like they shouldn't be managing their own servers anymore. We really do believe in our solution, and it can scale as big as they are going to get.
Hmm.
We can handle it, and I want more of our customers in our cloud because it just makes business sense now, and it's more secure. We're in a good place with it. So our goal is to get more cloud customers over because I just think it's easier, and it makes our lives easier too
Hmm.
because we know that environment, we know it's going to work really well. We don't have to, we're not break fixing a lot of stuff when they're stuck and something didn't work or, whatever happened. It's, then we're figuring out with them their infrastructure issues that they're having versus we
Hmm.
know it's our environment, it's scalable. We know we're not going to have any issues there.
Absolutely. Are you guys managing everything that's going on in the cloud? Like if customers move over to the cloud, are you essentially helping them with how all of that is like takes place in the cloud?
Yeah, so we have a business partner that does the
Right.
some of that day-to-day stuff, but we're always out there making sure that with our managed services piece that we're optimizing the SQLs and the HANA databases and making sure that it's running properly. But yes, we do have a partner that kind of has the AWS environment ready to go for us in the environments the way we need it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you've got a really good grasp on not only your goal, and correct me if I'm wrong, your goal is to grow 15% of EBITDA like year over year.
year over year,
Awesome.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, our biggest goal, the BHAG goal, is let's get to 20 million in five,
Nice.
right? So that's been our big goal is, let's get to that kind of size, and I think we can do it, and we just got to keep, as long as as long as the customer's happy and you take care of the customer and take care of your team, the rest of it just happens, right? You don't have to worry about bottom line, you don't have to worry about top line growth. If your customers are happy and your team members are happy, then the rest of it all just falls. You don't have to worry about anything else. So that's kind
Thousand.
of where we focus.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. I think like you know, it's product market fit. Like to say it simply, it's just making your customers happy, having the right product, and having a deep understanding of the solutions you provide related to that industry. That's something that's always going to be scalable. But without it, people still try to scale, and then it ends up turning into a huge mess. But another quick question that I wanted to ask you, and I always ask this on podcasts, is like hypothetically if you had a magic wand right now to fix one issue in the business, I know you had mentioned like you guys are looking to be more efficient operationally. Like outside of that, related to your EBITDA goal, is there anything that if you could wave a magic wand and fix it, like do you know kind of what that one thing would be, like to help you get to that goal?
To get to that goal, I think it's always going to be, I mean, honestly, to get to that goal is always MQLs. Like, that number's got to be, a good number every month. And, I think we set a goal of we need 30 MQLs to kind
Mhm.
of make our number for the year. But if I could wave a wand on that and make it 75 MQLs a month that we're getting,
Mhm.
I would hire more salespeople, a couple more inside salespeople, right? And then everything just goes really quickly after that because we execute
Mhm.
very well during the sales process. We're a very high close ratio.
Wow.
Whether it's inside or outside sales, we do very, very well there on making sure that, um, we just very transparent in our sales process. We tell it the way it is, and if we can't help you, we're going to tell you that, so we don't
Yeah.
waste your time. And if we can help you, we're going to tell the stories and and build a practical solution for you that's not going to be this crazy customizable solution that you're never going to run without us. We want to be able to turn the keys over to you at the end of this, and I think our methodology on implementations, supports that.
Yeah, that's huge. So that's awesome as well. So you've got a sales team that's kind of helping you, like the company. How big is that sales team, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
Sure. It's three people right now,
nice.
so we're relatively small on that side, but it's just because once as that lead flow goes and the MQLs really start to fly,
Right.
that's you just then you start adding bodies in there, right? And
Yep.
we're just, at this point, last year was a hard year with the election year. That was not an easy year for ERP for
Mm,
sure. We had a pretty good year. I mean, like we had
mm,
between partner changes and net news, I mean, I think we had 18. So it's not like we didn't have a good year or anything. It's just, Q2 and 3 with the election was really hard. People really stopped buying and stopped
mm,
project. They didn't want to do a lot of projects. They wanted to see what was going to happen. And
right.
then Q1 was a completely different story. We've been very busy, and Q4 was crazy busy. So
Nice.
great Q4, which sets you up with great backlog coming into the new year. So our first quarter this year was very strong. So
Absolutely. No, that is. I think it was like that as well in a lot of different industries and markets. People were kind of just waiting to see what happens. That's
yeah.
what I noticed as well. And other than that, if people want to connect with maybe you, Chris, or they want to learn more about Third Wave, what would be the best place for them to go? Obviously, other than your website, we'll make sure we link that. But can they visit you guys on social media, and maybe we can tell them like the best place to visit you?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn, absolutely. Just, you can find us on LinkedIn for sure, or Instagram, and again, or just, connect with me on LinkedIn. So
Mhm.
it's not a problem. People do that all the time. So, obviously then, the website will get you there because there's lots of contact me. And we also do live chat on our website. So if you really want to get a hold of somebody, you can always just live chat, and that will get to that person pretty quickly. So I'm glad we did that. I did it at my old place,
Uh,
and we do get a good amount of activity on live chat.
oh wow!
Sometimes people don't want a bot. Like
Right.
ours is only a bot like at 10 o'clock at night until like 8 in the morning. It's not. It's a live person.
Yeah.
Uh, most of the day. So
That's awesome. I was just chatting with the bot on Google for one of my email accounts, and I was trying my hardest to talk to a real person. So that definitely resonates with me. But I'll be sure to include links to your guys' website, to your guys'
okay.
media and LinkedIn in the description of this YouTube video, as well as our posts on social media. I highly recommend you guys check out Third Wave and the awesome things that they're doing. But other than that, thank you again, Chris, for your time and really for the insights today. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.
No, appreciate that very much.